We didn't feel we played exceptionally well for the first 3 quarters, but that was a really good football team that we beat. And defensively, I thought it was as good as, if not the best defense that we had faced so far this year. And then I thought Jody Webb was as talented as a kid as we have played this year, and obviously he gave us fits. That being said, we hung in there through 3 quarters, and then in the fourth quarter, a couple of things happened. One, we were able to create a big play with Bruce. Tim made a great call to get us down there, to get a score, to get us within 7. And then where we thought, and we talked about it with our guys throughout the week, where we had an advantage was on special teams. And, you know, the hidden yardage, so to speak, Ben averaged 47 yards a punt. I think they averaged 35. We averaged 30-plus yards on kick returns. They were under 20 yards per return. There's a lot of hidden yardage in there. And when you look at that, we had all of our possessions in the fourth quarter were either one was in their territory and the other 2 were past our 40-yard line. So you're working off a short field. And on the flip side, every one of their possessions were either 25 or 15 or 14. And that's where we had a great advantage in the special teams, just flipping the field. I thought our defense did a great job in the fourth quarter of getting some stops, and then offensively just methodically managing the clock and managing some drives to get us an opportunity to have a chance to win that game. But I thought Youngstown had a great game plan. I think they're an excellent football team, and we were fortunate to come out with the win. So I'll open up for questions.
Coach, in that game, like other games before, Kansas State, Illinois State, late in the game, you got to score, clock's running, but you don't deviate from your game plan. How do you maintain the discipline not to get out of character, and how does that affect the? Well,
when it was a 1-score game, we always will stay in that plan, and even when it was a 2-score game, there was well over 10, 12 minutes left. So, you know, we talk about it at length with our guys. You know, let's not reach. Let's just stay with what we know we have a chance to have some success with, which was essentially getting some motions, getting Bruce outside, and then King inside. But just being in that position an awful lot, or guys seeing us that maybe haven't played but been on those trips, seeing us in those positions and finding a way to just stay with that plan and have a chance to win in the fourth. We always talk about it on the road in general. As difficult it is in this league to win on the road, have a chance to win in the fourth. And you look at our 3 wins over the last 4 weeks on the road, we've given ourselves an opportunity in the fourth quarter, and our guys, credit to them, they found the way to make the plays.
Coach, I know the expectation will be that you guys have a few more home games after the regular season, but last one for the seniors at home in the regular season this week. What pops in your head when you think about this senior class?
Well, they've been a special group. Obviously, there's 14 of them that are going to run out of that tunnel for the last time in a regular season home game, and we hope to be able to get another game or 2 in there. But just what they've done for the program. You talk about a group of guys that have won an awful lot of football games. They were the first crew that really went down to Frisco and sat in the stands and saw a championship team in 2011. A lot of those guys were on scout team and did a phenomenal job and really developed and worked their way through as a developmental player to get an opportunity to play. Some of them have played for 4 years, and some of them have played for just a year or 2, and they're really special to me because that was really my first class as well. I mean, that all those kids were redshirted during my first year, and obviously wouldn't be in the position I am without those guys.
Did it hit you maybe on the way back about how big the win was Saturday, about what the repercussions now that came out of that with everybody else winning Saturday?
Well, it was. We knew all along this was a huge, huge game and a critical win for us if we could get it done. You know, everybody kind of held serve, which doesn't always happen in this league. But no, it didn't. All week long, we knew the magnitude of this game and what it potentially could do for us, and we have ourselves in that position. In reality, now we have to really challenge the guys to go and finish it. And this game is about us and about our guys and having a great week of preparation to give us a chance to win on Saturday.
How do you keep the guys focused this week in terms of just the senior day thing, and then obviously it's an opponent that has had some struggles?
Well, I don't think we'll have any issue keeping the guys focused because they have an opportunity to play at home. They have an opportunity to honor these seniors. We know in this league, and if you don't play well, you're going to be in a dogfight and potentially lose a football game, and our guys know that. So I don't see that being an issue, keeping their focus at all.
Is it nice to have what you guys have on the line for this game? I mean, potential more playoff home games in a Valley title?
Yeah, well, this is what we work for. This is what we talk about. The first team meeting when we came back from Frisco, and we've done it for the last X amount of years, as well as the first team meeting we have on spring ball and the first team meeting we have in fall camp. Our goal is to win the Missouri Valley Conference Championship, and it's a long, tough road to get in that position, and we have an opportunity to get a piece of that title, and that's our ultimate goal. And if you can achieve that goal, you have an opportunity to maybe have some home games. But I think with our reputation in the league, or excuse me, across the country, our league's reputation, we hope to have a high seed and those things. And but it all starts with trying to get that Valley title.
They were able to get Davis going.
Pardon me?
They were able to get their backup or the running quarterback going. What do you guys have to do to clean up what's going on with allowing more yards to quarterback runs?
Well, we've done a great job, with the exception of that guy had a couple runs the last few weeks. I think we've done an excellent job. So we'll just keep doing what we're doing.
Coach, do you have your class, Chris, 11 players? Is there your thoughts generally on that? You've had 26, 17, and now 11.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a small class. You're exactly right, but they're the right guys, and they're the guys that have been a big part of this, dating back to, like I said, 2011, and they've been impact players, and some of them have played a ton of football games, and I don't want to miss anybody, but I look at Zach Vron, Joe Haig, that have played an awful lot of games and won an awful lot of big games home and away, and I'm really fortunate. This is a great week for us because all the seniors get the opportunity to speak in front of the team after a practice. We'll start that tomorrow, and I'm excited for those guys as well as the young guys to hear their journey, because a lot of those guys, it wasn't they didn't start off just automatically as great players and starters. They had to develop, and they had some growing pains, and they didn't always play. They weren't always the starters, and there's not a lot of people that have an unscathed 4 or 5 years here where everything's a great day, and so it'll be interesting to see those guys or hear from those guys this week.
Carson, unfortunate that he won't be able to finish out his career playing, and how's he doing this week? What's he doing to stay in shape? All those things.
Well, he's running. I haven't spoken to him today, but he runs. The last 2 weeks he's been cleared to do all his running and stuff. So he's with Coach Kramer before practice, doing a lot of running to get himself or keep himself in condition. Before or after practice, he'll work with Coach Hedberg to work his footwork drills and some of those things. Everything you can do, with the exception of throwing the football, he continues to do. He's in all the meetings, obviously, just because I think that those things help him as well as help us, because he's listening to the same thing that Randy's preaching to Easton so that he can help Easton on the sideline. But I know it'll be a difficult game for Carson when you're going out for your last home game and you're not a part of that. I saw I saw when Grant wasn't a part of it, and probably similar situation. We didn't think Grant was going to play, and he ended up playing in a championship game, and Carson's in that same boat. The likelihood of him playing probably isn't very good, so it'll be a difficult day, but he needs to be honored because he's been a huge part of what we've done all 5 years, but since I took over as the head coach, obviously he's taken us to some unbelievable victories inside that Fargo Dome as well as on the road.
Is Bruce your kick returning the rest of the way?
Yeah, I think he will be. I think Perk will stay on punt returns and Bruce will stay on kick returns if they stay healthy.
Bruce is over 6 yards of carry still on the season. Are you going to try and work him into the offense a little bit more as his ribs heal?
As he's healthy and as the game plan dictates, yes, but King will still get a good share of those carries as well.
Update with Nate and Champion, do you know any more?
I will know more probably end of today or tomorrow. But both of them are not ruled out for this week, and we're hoping that they can practice probably middle of the week. But both of them came through probably a little bit better than we expected. You know, Nate finished the game. I knew he was going to be real sore on Sunday, but we're hoping he can do some things this week.
So, issues with them?
Nate had like an MCL sprain, and Jordan's is a hamstring.
The special teams, I mean, you touched on it a little bit, but ranking fourth in the nation, Bruce Anderson, Eric Perkins, what they've done this year especially.
They've done an excellent job. I mean, Perk had his opportunity about this time last year and kind of took it and ran with it on kick and punt returns. And Bruce just has a natural knack to find a crease on kick returns and great speed to get through the line. And we're blocking better on those teams. And credit Coach Austin and our special teams. We work on that. And that's the first thing we'll do out of the gate today at practice is we'll work a lot of drills within the special teams, not just necessarily a punt or a PAT or a field goal, but all the blocking downfield, challenging people at the line of scrimmage, all those things that you have to be able to do to be successful on the punt return and kick return units. We're spending a lot of time in trying to emphasize it because I know we match up pretty evenly with a lot of teams offensively and defensively, and everybody knows each other so well in the Valley that you have to have a clear advantage in one area or another. And special teams, fortunately for us, has been a big advantage, and much of that is due to Ben LeCombe.
At this point in the year, it's kind of that delicate balance of physical practices versus backing off on some guys and all that sort of thing. But at the same time, you had mentioned maybe the tackling wasn't as crisp as you'd like it to see. So how do you manage that, I guess, the next week?
Yeah, you were kind, Brian. It was horrendous on Saturday, and we have to shore it up. But you're right. We emphasize wrapping up a bunch. Now we need to have somebody give us some of those looks. It's easy to wrap up on a guy that can't run around you or beat you with speed. It's trying to give us a little bit more look. Probably bring Darius Anderson down a little bit and let him run around against the defense just to show some speed and semblance of that quickness that gave us a problem on Saturday. But there's a fine line. We have to cut it back. We're probably only out there an hour and a half on Tuesday and Wednesday, and Greg Menard can't take a lot of more hits. Neither can Nick, and I'll miss some guys. But in the same respect, we need to do a better job on the perimeter, especially against a talented back like that. Our biggest concern right now this week, guys, that you're going to hear about, and I'm just going to tell you, is we've got a ton of kids with the flu, and it started with Lucas Albers on Saturday early morning, and Lucas we gave him some IVs, tried to go, couldn't go, was sicker than a dog, and my phone just keeps buzzing with Bobby giving me another one. I know we're into double digits now, so we're still going to try to practice tonight, but there'll be a number of guys that won't be there tonight, and then my fear is if they're there tonight, they are not going to be there on Tuesday or Wednesday, because it's hit us full-fledged this morning, and I just hope we can get it stopped.
This is maybe a stupid question. Do you tell kids to get flu shots, or do you mandate it, or how do you do
We've
that?
mandated it, and we all have them.
Everybody gets the flu.
Evidently. Now, yeah, I don't know, but everybody had a flu shot about 10 days ago. So, but
It's a one-day deal, or is Albers back?
I hope. I mean, Lucas, we didn't see him on Sunday, and he was really bad on Saturday. Didn't look good coming on the bus, and tried to warm up a little bit. To just couldn't keep anything down, and so we just shelved him. And I don't know how he felt on Sunday, but I talked to Kramer this morning, and the guys were throwing up in the weight room and stuff, and he got him out of there, and it's going to hit us full circle here, and not a very good week to have happen to us. So another adversity, and we'll get through it, and we'll practice the guys that can, and hopefully they get sick early in the week and not late in the week.
Worry about weight loss?
Yeah, that's Jim's biggest concern, obviously. You hope you don't lose that much weight in a week time or 3 or 4 day time, but absolutely it's a concern. The whole, from the weight loss to not enough reps to trying to get, if Nate Tangway can't practice and all of a sudden it's Aaron Steidel that gets the flu and he needs those reps. Now he's not there. Then we're moving a defensive end or linebacker there, and so it's trying to get the quality reps to the guys that can play without. If we lose 2 defensive ends and the only guy left to practice is Greg Menard, we can't have Greg Menard taking 60 to 80 snaps a day. So that's something that we have to look at. We won't go as long tonight as we normally do, and then probably each day will be a work in progress of how much we can get done.
When you look at Missouri State, obviously they're having their struggles this year, but what challenges do they pose to you?
Well, for starters, they're extremely well coached. I know the offensive coordinator. I worked with him at Northern Iowa. Mario Verduzco does a phenomenal job, and I know Steck's a great defensive mind. The one thing that you can watch on their tape and their film is they have a plan and they are sticking to it. And I have great appreciation for those guys in doing that, as far as they're playing a bunch of young guys. And they're not reinventing the wheel every week on defense. This is what they do, and those kids are getting better. There's some games that it may be snowballs on them, but there's some games where they play hard all the time because that's a Steck coach team. But they're learning their system and they're not changing it, and that's sometimes difficult when the results aren't going your way. But it tells you they are on the right page and on the right track, because those guys are just continuing to get a ton of reps, and these are all freshmen and sophomores doing it. Offensively, they've done the same thing. They're sticking with what they want to do from a spread standpoint as well as a 2 tight end standpoint, and here's what we're going to do, and we're going to continue to get better at it. We're maybe taking some lumps, but they're a well-coached team. They have some exceptional players, and then they have some young guys that but I've been really impressed with just how they're staying with the process and not trying to recreate the wheel every week.
Coach, you've spoken about him a lot, but how much has Ben LeCompte meant over the last 4 years, and shows the value of putting scholarship money in a punter? What that
guy's been able to do for 4 years on kickoffs and on punts has won a few games for us. There's so many hidden yards in games. There's so many times where, I can go back to the 2013 Kansas State game where Tyler Lockett didn't get a chance to return a kick, all because of Ben LeCompte. Pooching it for a while, then they moved up, then he kicked it over their heads, being able to angle punts. All those things are a gift, and we are so fortunate that we have him, and he'll be as hard of a senior to replace as anybody we have, because of being able to be sustained and consistent for 4 years. And not only that, but Ben's a great competitor. I enjoy our time and that we spend together on day of games, because we eat pregame and stuff together. Just what a great person he is, and he has a future. There's no question in punting.
When you're able to kick off, right, in the next level, aren't they looking for that?
Yeah. If you can now, most of them are kicking it out of the end zone or nine yards deep, but you have the ability to do that as well as placing the ball in punting. Everybody's turning the ball over. Everybody's kicking it, 56 yards. It's just if you can place it outside the numbers and stuff. And I know he's piqued a lot of interest amongst the scouts that have come here to visit.
Coach, you talk about the Valley, the fact that there's 3 teams that have a chance to either outright win or have a share of the title.
Well, it's a great league. We all know that, and every week you don't know what's going to happen. Every week there's a game that maybe is going to go different than what the paper says it's supposed to go, and that's because these teams know each other so well. Everybody spends an ample amount of time in the spring and in the summer looking at every Valley school to say, okay, let's get a game plan for these guys now, and then we'll look at it again in the fall. And so there's no secrets in our league as far as offense, defensively, what teams are doing. And we've got tremendous coaches and tremendous players in this league, and I think we're hope to get 4 this year probably in the playoffs, and probably make some noise.
3 seniors on defense this season. They've seen you through your ascent here at NDSU. Can you just talk about those relationships and maybe how special those guys have been to this program?
Yeah, Brian, let's start with Shatsy. He's been a guy that came in here as a walk-on, and worked his tail off on the scout team, going against guys like Paul Cornick and some of those guys, Austin Richard, Joe Lund, and always played hard, always played physical. And then he was behind a lot of really good defensive tackles, but always found a way to get some time, and always was a productive player early in his career. And then he's just taken off from there and is playing at an all-conference level, practices like an all-conference player, has a great motor, has a great passion for the game, does a great job with our younger defensive tackles, continuing to preach to them how important Bison football is to him, what it means to be a Bison and play defense, and so Brian's done a remarkable job. You know, Champ and CJ are so special because they were in my meeting room for 3 years, and both guys came in my first year here, and we redshirted them both, and I thought they had a lot of ability, and those two learned so much from the guys before them, from the Marcuses, from Andre Martin and Shep and Higgs and Duggs and all those guys. They kept learning the game. They kept understanding that ability will get you so far, but you better understand our defense, and you better have a great knowledge of what an offense is doing. You just can't live on God-given ability. You have to be a student of the game, and both those two guys have done a great job of not only being students in the game, but now given that information to all the younger guys, and been tremendous leaders. And you know, when we came into the season, we said we had both corners back and both D tackles back, and that's a great place to start from as far as building a defense with a bunch of young guys around. And I've been really happy with the way all three of those seniors have played for us.